What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Sports Exchange Podcast, where me and my co-host Brad here are going to go over what happened this past weekend of Week 5 college football. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell to make sure you get all the notification whenever we upload a video of this amazing content that we're putting out. So, with all that being said, let's get into it now.
So, I'm going to start off with the Oklahoma Sooners.
Yeah.
So, for the first time since 1999, that's
That was a good year.
a long time ago. The Sooners lost 2 consecutive back-to-back Big 12 games. Last week against Kansas State, and then this week against TCU with a 55-24 L.
Called it.
Did you call that one?
I did.
It also was the most points allowed since the 2019 semifinal against LSU.
Wow. So not that long ago.
No,
But-
not that long ago as far as points allowed, but I mean, obviously that LSU team was like
Yeah.
generational.
Yeah, it was.
TCU's offense looked stout Saturday,
Yeah.
putting up 361 rushing yards. That's an absurd amount of rushing yards. Absurd.
Mm.
Yeah. 307 passing yards from quarterback Max Duggan. Is that how you say his name?
Max Duggan, yeah.
Duggan. Who went 23 of 33 for 3 touchdowns as well. So, what, almost 700 yards of offense on that Oklahoma defense?
Yeah,
That's insane.
that is insane.
Running back Keandre Miller had his second straight game rushing over 130 yards, including his 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So we know Oklahoma is reeling right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
But I guess the bigger question is, what's next for TCU?
I don't know. I looked at the schedule, and they still got some tough games ahead of them.
They do. I mean, right now, College Game Day is going to Kansas because both TCU and Kansas are undefeated right now. Whoever thought you'd ever hear those 2 names being undefeated together?
Yeah, not a clue.
But so we got to go to undefeated Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Has Oklahoma State lost this year?
No.
I don't think so. So that's 2 undefeated teams in a row they got to play. I'm not real sure if Kansas State. I think they've lost, haven't they?
Yeah, they lost.
So at least the next 2 games are going up against undefeated opponents. Then they got Kansas State. Then they go at West Virginia. You know, they play Texas Tech, who
Tough game. They play tough with anyone.
Yeah, who they just beat? Was it Texas? Did they beat Texas?
Yeah, they beat Texas.
Okay, that's who they beat.
Yeah.
And then you got at Texas and at Baylor, back to back, and then Iowa State to finish the year. So, I mean, if they can run the table, which I'll preface this by saying I don't think they will, but if they could somehow make a run and run the table in the regular season, I mean,
So how many of those games do you think they can afford to lose
to accomplish what?
to get into the Big 12? Kind of.
Golly.
Because I see them, they can lose to Oklahoma State and then win against Baylor. That way they have the advantage over Baylor.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have that advantage over Oklahoma State.
No, they wouldn't. Well, Well, no, I mean, I think they would play Oklahoma State.
Oh yeah, the Big 12 doesn't have divisions.
No, they would play Oklahoma State.
Okay.
But they need to beat Kansas State. They're having a big win.
Well, they need to beat Kansas first off.
Well, yeah, I know.
Because Kansas has looked not Kansas-like this year. So I don't know. I think they could lose 2 and still make it, as long as they beat the right teams.
Right.
If they beat an Oklahoma State, if they beat a Kansas State.
But if they lose to, like, West Virginia.
I think if they lose to West Virginia and say they, I don't know, lose to Iowa State, I think they'll probably be all right.
Yeah.
But they got to win their big games.
They do.
Because if they don't win their big games, those opponents are going to end up playing.
Right. So next up, we got Georgia Tech upsetting Pitt.
Yeah, I didn't see this coming at all.
So 5 days after Jeff Collins was fired from Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets responded with a huge win, beating Pitt 26-21.
Which you don't see very often right after a coach gets fired.
You don't. The defense caused 3 turnovers, which made it really hard for Pitt to come back.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about Pitt now. They sit 3-2. They're fading out of the ACC title race, being in the same division as. Well, no, they're not in the same division as Clemson. What's the other one? Miami.
Yeah, Miami hasn't looked great.
No. So do you see them fading out of the ACC picture?
Yes. Just because I haven't really. I thought with Keaton Slovis, I didn't think they'd lose much. I mean, like we've talked about all year long. I mean, yes, Jordan Addison, huge loss out on the edge.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wasn't a big fan of Kenny Pickett, so I thought this might be an upgrade. I mean, you look at you look at the talent they lost, though.
Right.
Like that's tough to overcome. I mean, what? Keaton Slovis is what? He's a sophomore?
I'm not really sure what he is. He might be a redshirt junior.
Maybe. So, either way, he still has eligibility left after this season. So, I don't know if this year is going to be a great year to gauge where Pitt's at.
Yeah.
I think they have potential. I just think this year, losing all that talent from last year's team, losing your number 1 wideout, is just proving to be too much for Pitt.
Yeah.
I don't see them staying in the race probably much longer, honestly. If they lose another one, game over.
Okay. So now on to a game where I'm proud of picking the outcome of this one. Washington and UCLA. Dorian Thompson-Robinson made a statement this past weekend, and everyone heard him loud and clear. When he and the Bruins pulled off the upset over 15th ranked Washington 40-32.
That did shock me.
Yeah.
I give you a good call on that one.
Yeah, thank you. So a lot of people have written off UCLA, calling them the worst 4-0 team in the nation. But fifth-year senior put all that weight on his shoulders and put all those doubters to rest, going 24-33, 315 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Also, Michigan transfer running back Zach Charbonnet rushed 22 times, 124 yards, and a touchdown. And another guy who was probably already on everyone's NFL draft board, if not, he is now, Jake Bobo.
Bobo.
Yeah, 9 passes, caught 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. This dude's a freak.
So, to say I was shocked by this would be exactly right.
Yeah.
Especially after watching Washington with Michael Penix. Like, I thought they were humming.
I mean, they were.
And
they just caught up another hot team.
Yeah, but like anything that I've seen from UCLA this year they've been close wins.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They've looked mediocre.
Exactly. close wins against kind of inferior opponents, which is one of the reasons why I didn't really give them much chance in this one. But they came out, proved me wrong. It's not a bad look for the Big Ten here in the couple coming years.
No.
When UCLA slides over into there. So good to see, UCLA kind of getting back. I mean, they've always been considered a basketball school, but they used to have a really good football program.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see them getting back to that. Like I said, I thought you were ballsy calling this game. So good on UCLA. Washington.
All right, so I'm going to go over the remaining schedule, and then I'm going to ask you if they're a true contender in the Pac-12.
Okay.
All right. Utah, Oregon, Stanford, Arizona State, Arizona, and USC to close out the season.
I think they're going to lose to Utah. I think they'll beat Oregon.
Really? Okay.
Beat Stanford, beat Arizona State, beat Arizona, lose to USC, so 2 losses. I'll say they're a contender.
All right. So do I. I mean, from what I've seen last week and then doing the research over the games, like you said, it didn't look pretty. Like their games, their stats, nothing really stood out other than
They won.
they knew how to finish games. And
that's the thing.
I took a chance on picking them, and it paid off.
It doesn't matter how you win,
Yeah.
as long as you win. A win is a win, no matter how you get there.
Right. All right. So let's go on to the next one, Brad.
All right. So we got Mississippi State against Texas A&M. I don't even know where to
I'm
start.
so disappointed with Texas A&M.
So the Bulldogs forced the Aggies into 4 turnovers. 3 of them occurred in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
So the worst place to happen.
Right.
And the 4th was a blocked field goal that happened to be returned for a touchdown. So
It's sloppy.
clearly nothing was going well for Texas A&M. They had another efficient day offensively, 473 yards total yards, with 329 coming from quarterback Will Rogers, who also had 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Ra Thomas, that's a unique name.
It is.
He had 5 catches, 134 yards, heck of an average, with a touchdown as well. I got a question for you.
Yep.
So why do you think, with all the talent that Texas A&M has, they just seem to be unable to put everything together consistently?
Couple things it could be. I think it's the lack of leadership on the field. No one's ever taken command of that offense. It's been hit or miss on plays that, hey, that play actually worked.
Well, so
And
you look at it, right? Already starting.
every episode.
You look at it, and what do the big name programs in the country have?
I'm not sure where you're going with this. But...
Consistent quarterback play.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you have, this is going to be odd to say, you have Georgia with Stetson Bennett.
He didn't look very consistent last week.
No, which is why they dropped to 2.
Yeah.
You have Alabama with Bryce Young, we think, going forward. You have Ohio State with C.J. Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
You got Michigan with J.J. McCarthy. The quarterback means so much in college football.
Yeah.
But you don't know who the quarterback is for Texas A&M. So they put these recruiting classes together, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Fine and dandy. They are loaded on both sides of the ball.
They're just not meshing well together.
Who's
now.
their quarterback?
Yeah.
Who's their quarterback? So my next question is,
Mm-hmm.
do they have any shot against Alabama next week? I have one deciding factor on this.
If they find out who their quarterback is.
I got one deciding factor.
I mean, it's college football. Anything can really happen on Saturdays. But no, I don't see Texas A&M having any shot at Alabama, especially Bryce Young. He's day to day right now with his shoulder.
That's my X factor.
Yeah, I don't see him really sitting this game out.
I mean,
Nick Saban didn't look that concerned.
it obviously depends on the health of Bryce Young.
Yeah.
If Bryce Young doesn't play, I give them a small chance. Because, I mean, Alabama's back.
That's the thing.
I mean, he's a runner.
Yeah, he's a runner.
But he threw pretty well as well. If Bryce Young plays, no shot. Not a shot.
Not a shot.
Not a shot.
All right. Next up, we're going to go Ole Miss versus Kentucky. Not the most explosive game of the weekend, but this game was intense at the end.
It was. Just when you thought Ole Miss was going to, kind of pull away,
Yeah.
they could never do it.
No. So it had a little offense starting out, but then that's when the defenses took over, especially in the second half when Ole Miss only allowed 3 points. And they came up with a crucial fumble when Kentucky was threatening late in the fourth.
In the
Red zone. And that kind of just
What is
sealed
up
it.
with all these red zone turnovers?
I don't know. But Ole Miss got away with one. Jackson Dart, 15 to 29, 213. No touchdowns, 1 interception. Quinton Judkins, 15 rushes, 106 yards, touchdown. So, in order for Kentucky Wildcats to be taken seriously in the SEC, they need to do what, Brad?
If you ask me, it's pretty easy.
Okay.
They have to run the ball.
Yep.
Way better than
Yeah.
they have been. When your team runs the ball for a total of 37 times and you only get 108 yards between 6 players,
Yeah. Something's wrong.
it's just not going to cut it in the SEC.
No, it's not.
Their old line just couldn't create any running lanes for them, which in return allowed Ole Miss to drop back more defenders and took away all the passing options.
Right.
It just when the O-line can't get the run game going, it makes life way more difficult for Will Levis in the air attack to get going, because I mean, like I stated earlier, they can drop back. If they can rush 4 and still get in the backfield,
It's a long day.
long day.
Alright, so moving on. Did Oklahoma State show any reason why they shouldn't win the Big 12 after defeating Baylor 36-25?
Did they show any reason why?
Yeah.
Not really. I'm pretty sure we both call for Baylor in this one? Did I take Oklahoma State? I don't remember.
I know, I took Baylor. I know that.
I know you took Baylor. I think I took them close.
Yeah.
No, there's no reason they can't win it. Their defense is still, even after losing Jim Knowles, still playing fast and violent. The Big 12 has a lot of good teams. Sitting on the top right now. That the Cowboys still have to play.
Yeah.
They got Texas Tech still. They got TCU. They got Texas. They got Kansas State. They got at Kansas. like I said earlier, surprise. They have Iowa State, and they have to go to Norman and play Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Which,
That was.
that one really doesn't look like much of a.
I don't know. If Oklahoma can win out, I don't know. That might game have a little bit more meaning to it.
Well, yeah, but they got to win out. Right now, they don't look like they can.
No.
Clemson versus NC State.
What a game.
It was like this is another one of them games where you thought Clemson would kind of pull away. Like just like by watching the flow of the game, you thought, okay, Clemson's gonna win by 20, 21, whatever. You thought, okay, here comes a run, and then NC State would stop it and get the ball back, and they just kept chipping away at it, just couldn't ever get over that hump.
Right.
On a side note here,
Yep.
we watched the pregame to this.
Yep.
Pretty cool. Like, I've never seen, I hate Clemson so much, but I've never seen their routine before kickoff.
Okay.
In their home field. Like I've seen them come down the hill and touch the rock or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you think, without knowing or seeing it, you would think that they do basically what every other normal college football team does. The locker room is close to the field entrance. So you walk across the street or you walk to the field entrance. This is not the case.
No, it is not.
Their locker room is on the other side of the stadium. You have to bus them
Yeah, 3 buses to take
around the
the
stadium
team.
and drop them off at the hill or whatever they
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah, that was kind of cool to see. I'd like to be in that bus once.
That'd be insane.
Yeah.
They did say that someone said that there's not much talking that goes on.
Yeah, they said it was eerily quiet on the bus.
Yeah, I'd be like trying to fire people up, but I
Yeah.
get it. People have their own, way of getting ready for things. But the Tigers came out and they took care of business.
Yep.
They beat NC State 30-20 in an electric home environment. Like I said, I hate Clemson, but that was a good college football environment.
It was.
So I have 2 questions following this game, Tim.
Yep.
Is NC State's run for the ACC lost with them needing Clemson to lose and win out to give them any hope?
I do because I don't see NC State winning it.
I don't either. So that was quick and fast.
Yeah.
So that was question 1. What team remaining on Clemson's schedule gives them a run for their money?
So who they got?
They got Boston College. You give me answers when I
Okay.
say the team.
So they beat Boston College.
Okay. Florida State.
Yeah, they beat Florida State.
Syracuse.
No.
Notre Dame.
They'll win.
Who?
Clemson.
No. Louisville.
They'll win.
Miami.
They'll win.
And South Carolina.
They'll win that. So Syracuse.
You said Syracuse is going to win?
Yeah.
Oh. If there was anybody on that list right there, I'd have probably, I don't know, I'm digging Florida State this year.
Yeah, I am too.
Notre Dame.
I trust Clemson more than Florida State. I'll say that.
If Notre Dame can figure something out in the quarterback department,
Yeah, if you ask me 2 weeks from now,
I'll give you Notre Dame as
Yeah.
a possible.
I'm just saying right now, I don't see Notre Dame squad beating Clemson.
Okay.
But if they can get their stuff together in the next 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, I mean, we'll see after the UNLV game in 3 weeks. They play October 22nd. I'm going to the game. By that point, if they don't have their stuff together, no. But if they show consistently and they're
Progress. If they show
yeah,
progress.
if they have a big gap in between their opponents, okay, yeah, I'll give Notre Dame a shot at beating Clemson.
All right. So, where are we going after this, Timmy?
We are going to the new AP Top 25.
All right.
We're going to put it up on the screen. We're going to block ourselves out for a minute. So, obviously, first top 10, Alabama now sits number 1.
Yeah,
Georgia dropped down to number 2.
This is the first change in the top 5 in the last
since
4
Michigan got
weeks.
there after week 2.
So continue.
Then you got Ohio State at 3, Michigan 4, Clemson 5, USC 6, Oklahoma State 7, Tennessee 8, Ole Miss 9, Penn State 10.
I'd like to see Penn State.
A little lower.
No.
No, that was an ugly game.
Uh,
17-7. I mean, that's not a top 10 team score against an inferior opponent. Like that was a sloppy.
I think Penn
Big Ten
State's
game.
on the come up.
I mean, I didn't like that game.
I could have seen them ahead of Ole Miss.
You've had other teams to have close wins and then they drop, but Penn State does it and they go up.
Yeah.
I know a lot of teams lost in the top 25, and there probably wasn't much room to drop them with all these teams adding in the top 25, so maybe that was the reason why. So you go through 11 through 20.
All right, so 11 through 20. At 11, we have Utah. 12, we have Oregon. Kentucky at 13. Which is kind of surprising. I thought Kentucky would drop a little further. 14, NC State. 15, Wake Forest. 16, BYU. TCU at 17. I thought they would credit them a little more for the Oklahoma win. 18, UCLA up in there. I don't know where they were at last week. I can't remember. Were they UCLA?
Unranked.
Really?
TCU is unranked.
Dang.
So TCU going from unranked to 17, I think that was a fair assessment after beating Oklahoma.
Okay, yeah. I thought TCU was already in.
Mm-mm.
So that's my mistake. You got 19, Kansas. This has to be like the highest ranked Kansas has ever been. Then you have number 20, Kansas State.
Okay.
We're just going to run through the rest of the top 25 here real quick.
Yeah.
21, Washington. 22, Syracuse. 23, Mississippi State. 24, Cincinnati. And look who climbed into the top 25, the Fighting Brian Kellys.
Yeah. And we're back. All right, so little quick notes for this top 25. TCU in the top 25 that we just talked about for the first time since 2019. UCLA off to its first 5-0 start since 2013. Kansas also 5-0 for the first time since 2009.
I can't believe it has been in the 2000s that Kansas went 5-0.
Yeah. Kansas and Kansas State both ranked in the top 25 for the first time since 2007. Syracuse also 5-0, been in the top 25, or haven't been in the top 25 since 2019. And yeah, like you said, LSU and Brian Kelly in the top 25 for the first time this year. They're about to get knocked back out of it, I think, after this weekend, after playing when they play Tennessee.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so enjoy it while it lasts for a week, Brian Kelly.
I'll find my way.
Alright, so before we wrap this up, let's talk about next week's key matchups that we're going to cover in the next college preview episode.
Alright. So next week's key matchups. So we're going to start off with BYU and Notre Dame. It's the Shamrock Series game.
Let's go.
At Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. You also have TCU and Kansas. College game day will be there.
Yeah, huge game.
Tennessee, LSU.
Yep.
Another ranked matchup. Utah, UCLA. Also playing this week. That should be a good one. And Texas versus Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure nobody thought at the beginning of the year these two teams would be unranked when they played.
No, not one bit.
Everyone was like, Texas is back. No, they're not.
Yeah.
So, for that, that's all we have for the Week 5 roundup of college football. We hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And when you do, don't forget to click the notification bell.
Oh, yeah.
We'll let you know whenever we upload a video. Also, we have our Facebook account back. It has been
Got it
gone
back.
for a while due to some hacking issues. So make sure you go check out our Facebook page as well. The link will be in the description. With that being said, we're out.